Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to explore a tense turning point where Tuna's debt-ridden ex-husband suddenly shows up at the farm, clashes with Alex, and forces her to choose between a painful past and the fragile peace she has now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episodes. By the time Huang An set foot on the dirt road leading to the farm, everything behind him was burned to the ground. That morning, he was pursued before the sun had fully set. 3 loan sharks stood in front of his shabby rented room. The leader grabbed him by the collar and pushed him against the stained wall. "Enough, you hear?" he growled. "Land papers, house papers, car papers. You give them all to us. We don't have any money today, so we don't need the papers anymore. We'll take you." With trembling hands, Huang An pulled out from his shirt a crumpled file folder. Papers that used to be his pride. The house in his name. The land his grandparents left him. The car he bought on installments. All of them used to be assets. Now they are just mortgaged assets. "Give me more time," he begged. "I have a way to win it back. Just 200 more, I bet 83 and 86. If I win, I will pay it all back." But the lottery doesn't care about anyone. The night before, he sat glued to the screen, clutching the lottery ticket until it crumpled. The results board showed strange numbers. Not 83, not 86. Not anything he expected. In just a few seconds, the house, car, land turned into some ironic numbers on the screen. And now, in front of him were cold stares. "Another week," he repeated, his voice hoarse. "I got it, I swear." "What's the point of an oath?" The leader raised his chin. "A week. If you don't see the money, we'll come find it ourselves. Don't run away." They pushed him hard and left. His head was buzzing and his legs felt weak. Huang An staggered into a sidewalk cafe, ordered the cheapest iced black coffee, and sat there, staring, but seeing nothing. "Huh, Huang An? You look like you just got run over by a car," a familiar voice rang out. He raised his head and saw an old drinking buddy pull up a chair and sit down opposite him. The guy glanced at the disheveled appearance and smiled. "Lost the lottery again? This time you lost your house too, right? If you can't help, then don't be sarcastic," Huang An snapped. "Sit still." "So hot." His friend shrugged. "Actually, I have something to tell you. Maybe it will wake you up." He lowered his voice, leaning his hands on the table. "Do you want to know how your ex-wife is doing now?" Just the 2 words, ex-wife, made his heart feel like someone was squeezing it. A series of images came back. Tuna, holding her pregnant belly, standing at the foot of the stairs, her eyes red. His mother standing upstairs, pointing and cursing without mercy. He turned his face away, pretending not to hear. The door slammed shut behind her, and he thought to himself, "It's better to go. Less trouble. What about her?" He tried to sound indifferent, but his voice was choked. "Pretty good," my friend replied. "A few days ago, I delivered something near that farm down there. I saw her. Next to her was a well-dressed guy with a fancy car called CEO Alex. I heard he had a tapioca factory, a wood workshop, and did business with foreign countries. I saw him holding a baby that looked exactly like yours, like his own child. As for her, she looked peaceful, not the miserable, dragging type you think." His pride was slashed by someone. His ex-wife and the child he once considered a burden were now being carried and protected by someone else. The feelings of humiliation, jealousy, and bitterness mixed together into a suffocating mass. "Are you sure it's Tuna?" he asked again. "Probably. tall, thin, long hair, holding a white baby. People even called his name, his friend said. Do you want to pay off your debt? Go there, apologize, cry, say you're my wife, the child is my child. If that CEO had just shown you a little pity, you would have been less tired. He's rich. It sounds humiliating, but for a man who was pushed into a corner, humiliation or not, was no longer important. In Huang An's mind at the moment, there were only two things: the pile of debt waiting and the image of Tuna standing next to another man. That afternoon, he dragged along a few vague acquaintances, some of whom were also curious to see the drama, along the village road leading to the farm. The low iron gate, its paint peeling, was half open. Inside was a dirt yard with a few rows of vegetables, a flock of chickens scratching. The sound of the wind blowing through the treetops sounded uncomfortably peaceful to a man whose whole world had just turned its back on him. Huang An took a deep breath, adjusted his wrinkled shirt, tried to save his last bit of dignity, then walked into the yard. Here na. Inside the house, the lullaby stopped abruptly. A moment later, Tuna appeared in the doorway, baby Henry in her arms. Her expression changed when she recognized him. No longer the trembling girl from before, but a mother holding her child with vigilance. "What are you doing here?" she asked, hugging the baby closer. He tried to pull up the corners of his lips. "Long time no see. I wanted to talk to you. I think there's nothing left to say between us," she replied dryly. He took another step forward, his voice hurried. "I know I was wrong back then. I was hot-tempered, stupid, trusting people, trusting lottery numbers. Now I've lost everything. People are chasing me for debt. I just want you to give me a chance to make things right. Let's go back and start over. I'll take care of you and our child. I promise." Tuna laughed, but it was not a happy laugh. It was the laugh of someone who had stood on the edge of a cliff once and remembered very clearly the feeling of falling. "Do you remember the last time I left your house?" she asked slowly. "Your mother stood upstairs cursing me, throwing my things down the stairs. I held my pregnant belly, holding a small basket, both scared and hurt. Where were you standing? Standing right there, silent, not a word in your defense. I took your child out of the house, and all you said was, 'It's good to go, less trouble.' I thought the baby wasn't mine." Huang An tried to defend himself. "I was angry. I was blind." "And now your eyes lit up just when you were in debt?" She looked straight at him. The house was lost. The car was lost. People were demanding money. And you just remembered that in this world, there was me and the baby who could save you. Little Henry suddenly frowned, turned his head to his mother's shoulder, feeling the tension. Tuna quickly comforted him, but her eyes did not leave the once familiar face of the man in front of her. Outside the gate, the men who followed Huang An held their breath, huddled together, waiting to see the next part of the play that they did not expect to be so tense. And at that moment, the man of the past met the man of the present, in the middle of a small farm that seemed peaceful, preparing to lead to a confrontation that no one could easily retreat from. The next day, the atmosphere at the farm seemed to have returned to peace, but everyone's heart was heavy with their own worries. Early in the morning, dew still lingered on the leaves. Tuna got up to feed the pigs and cook porridge for baby Henry. While holding her baby, she looked up at the new fence Alex had built last night, a feeling of gratitude and vague worry rising in her heart. She was still afraid that Huang An would return, afraid that yesterday's threats were not just empty words. Around noon, Alex stopped by the farm as promised. He brought a few bunches of green vegetables, some supplements for Tuna, and a diaper bag for baby Henry. As soon as he parked his bike, he looked around, checking the gate and fence, as if to make sure everything was safe. "Did you sleep well last night?" Alex asked, his eyes on Tuna, but his hand already reaching out to support baby Henry. "Yes. It's okay, just startled me a few times," she confessed. "I was afraid he might come back." Alex held Henry, patted his back gently, and said in a low voice, "If he dares to come here again to cause trouble, I will really call the police this time. Don't be afraid. I remember his name, face, and threats from yesterday. We did the right thing. There's nothing to bow down to." Tuna pursed her lips. Her eyes were red, but her gaze seemed somewhat more reassured. She softly said, "I am very grateful to you, but I still feel guilty. I am afraid that because of me, you will get into trouble." Alex shook his head and interrupted. "Don't think like that. I'm not helping because I feel sorry for you, but because I want to. You and Henry are not a burden. You are my motivation to do better out there." Having said that, he put Henry back in the crib, rolled up his sleeves, and walked out to the yard, checked the fence, and adjusted a few loose parts. In every decision to negotiate, to ask for a better price, to maintain his reputation with customers, he always thought, with more profit, he would have more energy to take care of the farm, the pigs, the chickens, and the mother and child there. Work was no longer about dry numbers, but was tied to a small house, a smiling child, and a woman who always said she just wanted to repay the favor. Leaving the shop, on the way home, Alex stopped by a simple clothing store on the side of the county road. He carefully chose a soft cloth outfit for Tuna, the kind that was easy to wear and cool for working on the farm, and a few cute little outfits for little Henry. In the eyes of the seller, he was just a normal customer buying clothes for his wife and children. But in Alex's heart, each item was a way to quietly say what he had not dared to say directly. He wanted to be with and take care of the mother and child for a long time. In the afternoon, Tuna took the opportunity to let the chickens out, water the vegetables, and harvest some clean vegetables to sell at the market tomorrow. Every time she bent down, she remembered what her ex-mother-in-law had shouted. "You unlucky thing, bring that burden to my house." Yet now, the same belly that had been scolded, the same child that had been called a burden, was the reason for another man to endure hardships, build fences, take her to the doctor, and buy each carton of milk. Last night, seeing Alex standing in front of her, facing Huang An without retreating, a fear of loss suddenly arose in her heart. What if one day he also left like the other person? It was that fear that made her try to keep her distance, constantly saying, "Don't get tired because of me. I'm just a servant." But the more she tried to separate, the more the things Alex did made the line between repaying gratitude and love gradually blur. That night, when Tuna was making a fire to cook porridge for Henry, she heard the familiar sound of a car stopping in front of the gate. Alex walked in, carrying a bag of groceries, smiling. "I came by early today. I bought some things for you and your mother." Tuna hurriedly wiped her hands on her apron, took the bag, opened it, and saw some new clothes. She was both embarrassed and touched. "Why did you buy such a waste of money? I can still use old clothes." "There's nothing to be shy about," Alex said, his voice serious but warm. "You take care of the kids, take care of the farm for me. It's normal for me to be able to take care of you and the kids. If you keep thinking you're not worthy, I'll be sad. During dinner that night, the atmosphere was different. It was no longer the strange feeling of the early days, when Tuna considered Alex as a kind boss, and she was just a hired hand. Between the times Alex put more meat in her bowl, told her to eat more to have milk for the baby, between the worried looks every time she coughed softly, something half like family, half like hope had quietly formed. In a more distant corner of the story, Huang An was also going through a long night. After listening to his mother's analysis, he lay down on the bed, staring at the ceiling. Two images alternated in his mind. One was the scene of him pushing Tuna out the door, her eyes red, her arms holding her pregnant belly. The other was the scene this afternoon, Alex standing there, coldly chasing him out of the farm, saying he would call the police if he dared to come back. Between those two scenes, he suddenly realized the man he called a wife thief was actually doing exactly what he should have done a long time ago, protecting the woman who used to be his wife, protecting the child who needed a safe home. But that realization wasn't strong enough to translate into a kind act. It only created a deeper rift between Huang An's ego and the little conscience he had left. He didn't call Tuna back, didn't text, didn't apologize again.
This is ridiculous.
He just clutched the
told him
torn
it wouldn't work,
blanket
but
and
nobody
whispered,
listens to me.
"We'll see how long
Now look
you
at it."
two can be happy." That night, under the tin roof of the farm, the wind blew through the crack in the door, carrying the smell of damp earth and the chirping of insects. That is the reason why he does not collapse under the pressure, and also the reason why he is determined not to let the past that Huang An represents come back to destroy the small piece that he and Tuna are trying to rebuild from the beginning. Huang An, Tuna's ex-husband, is drowning in debt after gambling away his house and car. When a friend tells him that his ex-wife is now living at a farm with a successful CEO, Alex, greed and jealousy push him to track her down. He shows up demanding a second chance, but Tuna firmly refuses, reminding him of the pain and humiliation he caused. Alex arrives, steps in to protect her, and threatens to call the police if Huang An returns. Tension spikes at the farm gate, marking a clear break between Tuna's cruel past and her fragile new beginning.